going to be playing in the Champions League next year.
We are champions of something.
And it is slightly galling to me that it's finished so far below my team, and my team is not going to be playing in Europe.
Oh, are you one of like the 3 teams this year that aren't going to be playing in Europe?
That's right.
Oh,
Yes. It's crushing disappointment. Yes. On the other hand, I did watch part of the match, and I'm delighted to say that the 2 teams on the pitch did look worth every one of their league positions.
it was a terrible game.
I thought you were going to say, on the other hand, speaking of crushing disappointments, and then leading to our intro. But hey, I did. I was telling Luke earlier. I did hear somebody describe it as the Premier League's 16th, 17th place playoff finals.
Yes.
Which I thought was quite amusing.
Yeah.
I heard it referred to as El Crapico.
It's a lot more blunt.
Yeah. Also, though you did refer to it as a major European title in your introduction, I would point out that it is the second tier of European title.
Well, that's all right. Still counts. Still silver and glimmery.
Yeah, and I can't be too upset because the teams that contested it, neither of them play predominantly in blue. So I'm completely happy with that.
Yeah, what is it with you and blue?
I don't know. I've never got on with teams that play in blue.
Well, I guess Portsmouth are down your way.
Yes, they are. Yeah, and not a huge fan. But there you go. You can't have everything.
You can't. You really can't. But at least we've got something, even if you haven't.
Yes. And to be honest, we're at least staying up, which is enough. That is our goal every year, and we're staying up. So if you'd asked me before the season if I'd have taken that finishing position, I would have gone, yep.
Worth a celebration in itself, I'd say.
Absolutely. So perhaps it's time we actually started. So it's time for intrigue and politics aboard the Baltic Star. It might be for that reason that Zoe and Kags have been sent to hide in their cabins. So Tally Helinsky, daughter of the governor of Darkmoon, once an abductee, now rescued by, among others, her fiancé. It's a story from a book, perhaps, or one you might find carved in stone at the bottom of a deep ocean. As there is a plan, long predating the traveller's arrival, to replace the retiring governor with this younger man, Sir Arlen Locke, our heroes have decided it might be wise to accelerate this process. After all, Locke seems to be a nice enough sort. Even Tally seems to like him. Like him enough, anyway. The issue is that her father, after first contacting Locke and telling him to come because his daughter had been abducted, then called him again and told him she'd been killed and not to come after all. By then, Locke had rather burnt his bridges and was trying to get to Darkmoon, so he came anyway. It's possible that this second call was the governor lying for some reason, or maybe he does believe his daughter is dead. If he believes that, then who gave him that information and why? To answer these questions, the travellers have invited him, along with a bodyguard, to make him feel safe, to the Baltic Star. They intend to spring his daughter on him as a surprise, but first they're setting a fine table for him. While Kronsorama keeps Kags busy in his cabin, Zoe is staying with Tally, keeping her under her watchful gaze. Kat and Johnny are dressed to serve the food, and Rose will, of course, be cooking whatever passes for delicacies in her wild imagination. At the appointed time, Ormel Helinsky arrived, accompanied by a tall woman with a distinctive facial scar. He smiled and said, "Good evening. Thank you for having us." And that is where we resume the story.
As they come in, Kara, who she's in like a jumpsuit. She's got a pistol sort of behind her back somewhat. She tucks in a little bit further behind Agnar. There's always been something about him that gives her the slight heebie-jeebies. And as Agnar made the call, she's quite happy to take a back seat behind her furry chum.
Okay.
Glances over his shoulder somewhat, and in his in his former uniform, which he keeps for the very best of occasions, he will step forward. I'd like to point out that he is unarmed, provided it's okay with you, Ben. I would also like to stipulate that he's taken a bit of time in their preparation to somehow secure his shotgun underneath the bar in Beth's bar.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
That's on it. Thanks. I didn't mention it at any point before, but I thought I'd ask.
Yes, that's not unreasonable at all.
Being such the generous referee that you are, and he'll step forwards.
You did have some time to prep the space, after all.
And get ready. Maybe he cut his perm short in the Varga hair dressing machine.
This is new. I thought that was natural.
Well, not perm, but some of the volume
It's
amplifying.
It's canonical. I just thought it was natural.
Call it what you will.
This says a lot.
He steps forward and says, Governor Helinski, it's our pleasure. And he turns to the guest. But I'm sorry, you have me at a disadvantage.
She blinks a little, slightly surprised to have been addressed, since she's there sort of as an appendage. And she, after a moment's hesitation, pause and says, Guardian Stavik.
Guardian Stavik, it's a pleasure. Please, my apologies for if I've made you feel uncomfortable. We invited Governor Helinski in a +1. You're here as our guest as well. And he offers out a hand to the governor.
And Helinski immediately grabs it and gives it a cursory shake. Excellent. Nice ship.
It's homely. We very much enjoy it.
Could I have a tour?
Yeah, yes, of course. And he'll turn around and see Kara. Please, this is my colleague Kara.
Hi, you may remember me from a former meeting we had in your office, and you sold me some things, and I sold you some things, and we had a lovely time.
Of course. It is nice to see you again.
People always say that.
I don't doubt it.
Oh, you smooth operator.
And now the tour. Where should we begin, do you think?
Well, I think we should start off with now that your perm has been cut out. I feel like we could show him some of our recreational areas where we like to relax. Before we could show a little glimpse in the med bay. Maybe show a few bits and pieces, then head up to Bast's bar area, perhaps. Cabins are cabins, aren't they? Cabins are cabins anywhere you go. So
they are. But that sounds like a good plan. And Bast's bar is our venue for tonight. I won't make any apologies for the state of our ship. I suppose you could describe it as its own encapsulated social experiment is the wrong word, but it's what the crew need it to be.
Yeah, are we on the emo side or the nice side?
That I was going to ask.
Yes. Have we come up on the left?
You're on the port side, effectively.
Oh, that's the left side.
Yeah.
Which is the
The nice side? As you look
The
at the
nice
ship, or
side.
the nice side, yeah.
Yeah.
The nice side. Ah, lovely. Yes, come with me. I've got some. And she sort of scurries off down the hallway a little bit, sort of just pointing randomly at some doors. This is some private quarters. This is some more private quarters. We have 2 corridors. This is the best corridor on the ship. The other ship is only for days where the dark mood takes over. And have you ever heard of Robert Smith, by the way? She sort of carries on walking down the corridor.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's okay. Well, this side is beautifully artistically done. I am the ship's artist, and I like to keep things bright and breezy. Agno, are you keeping up?
Yes, I am indeed. And of course, this is Kara's side of the ship, Governor, as no doubt you will have gleaned. It's they tend to be quite contrasting if we were to show you the other side of the ship, but I'm sure as a governor you are well aware that a little bit of friendly competition between people on the same side is a good way to motivate and to drive people to perform at their best.
Oh, well, naturally.
Here. This is the science lab we knocked through. This is an old it's an old ship, sort of an old passenger liner, as it were. So it's full of cabins, many cabins. A few fewer these days, as we've converted some into science labs, one into med bay. But if you look through this door here at the end, you may notice that we have not 1 but 2 fully functioning spa and steam rooms. She doesn't even knock and just opens it, hoping that there's no one naked in there.
It is empty. Yep.
Phew.
So perhaps later on, you and your lady friend guardian, who was it? Sorry, Stavak.
Stavek, yes.
Stav.
EK.
Okay, fantastic. We can get you a robe embroidered for later on in the evening if you so wish to enjoy such things.
Not for me, thank you.
So I will give you a robe anyway. You can take it with you as a special Baltic Star treat. All our guests get one if they so wish. These are the toilets if you need the toilets. But this is all out of bounds, unfortunately, unless our pilot and our engineers are happy to show you themselves. But it's the bridge. We have the usual sort of stuff on there. Our avionics sensors at the back of the ship is all our drives and so on. But the most important thing is to the front, where we will be enjoying our dinner this evening. This is where the crew and any guests we have at any time spend most of their time enjoying some wonderful surroundings. And she over grandly motions with her arms out to Bast.
Okay. And they follow the invitation implied by the arm and wander through, looking around them with some enthusiasm. But you know what? I'm going to ask that you each roll something along the lines of a streetwise check. If you prefer something like recon, that would be fine as well.
What's
Either of them would be with intellect.
They are the same.
Thank you very much.
Either way, they're the same.
Decidedly average.
What'd you get? I hit a 7, but with a +2 for my intellect, which is a 9.
Very nice. I got a 7, which is decidedly average, +1 with my recon, which is 8.
Okay.
Decidedly better than average.
All right. So,
wow.
So, while the governor seems to be very relaxed, he seems to be expecting a pleasant evening, and you get no vibe from him of anything other than that. His bodyguard appears to be more tense than you'd expect in such an environment. She's sort of staring at everything as if it's a potential threat, which is unusual on a friendly ship, if you know what I mean.
Are you okay, Guardian Stavek? Is there anything we can do to make your stay more comfortable?
Nothing, thank you. And she doesn't even look. She's still looking around the space as she answers.
Governor, it must fill you with a lot of confidence to know that your guest is clearly looking out so intently for your safety. But I'm sure my good friend Agnar will agree with me that there's nothing to fear on the Baltic Star. We're a very welcoming and friendly ship, isn't that right, Agnar?
We are indeed. We of course, I understand I understand your concerns, and you're only doing your job. I'm sure, keeping the good governor here safe. But hopefully, with time, you'll come to realise that we are, whilst not necessarily old friends, we are good friends, and we've met, and I think come to a reasonable arrangement before, and that there is nothing to fear.
She nods, still a little tense, and as you get to this point in the tour where the governor's going to find a seat and begin the entertainment portion of the evening, she says, "Of course. In that case, perhaps I might excuse myself to use the facilities."
Kara nods as she does it. Who's in Baspar with us?
Well, essentially, whoever you want to be there, apart from the four you explicitly dispatched. But you know that you
follow. Oh, Kags are perfect for this. Yes, got to work out who to follow.
You know that you have Kat and Johnny working there as wait staff for the evening. Rose will be there, and if there's anyone else you want to be around, they can be around.
Yeah, if Kat could be there, if that's okay, please.
Kat is definitely there. She's wearing a black outfit and is ready to be a waitress for the evening.
She is, isn't she? Fantastic. So, as I assume that Stavek makes her leave.
Yes.
As she goes, Kara will get up with a look. She'll say, "I'm just going to get a bottle of Agnar's best." She sort of smiles at the governor and says, "If I leave it to him, he'll get you the cheap stuff. I know where his best stuff is." She sort of makes an excuse to go up to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Says, "Kat, could you follow the Guardian, please? She looks like she's on the lookout for something, and it'd be nice to have a heads up in case she goes snooping. Make an excuse that you're getting some supplies or something if she does spot you."
And what do you want me to do if she is doing something suspicious?
Just ask her what she's doing. Ask her what she's doing.
All right. Okay.
And then let us know. Yeah. If she's going to either of the rooms where we're keeping people away, actually, don't worry about Kags. But if she goes anywhere near Zoe's, could you just find a way to stop it? I guess best you can, or delay it, or let Zoe, tip Zoe off by making a ruckus.
All right. I'll do my best.
Cool.
Immediately, without any hesitation, Kat sweeps off with her face set with determination. She's on a mission, and she disappears out of the space.
I assure you, Governor, any whiskey kept on this ship by myself is Certainly not the cheap stuff. But I'm glad that Brent is fetching a bottle of the finest reserve.
I'm delighted to hear it. Yes, I rarely get the very best.
Agnar, it's this stuff with that weird thing in the lid, right? That droopy, weirdy, balancing you from terror thing. That's the one, isn't it?
That is good, but maybe go for the that other to the left, that bottle there.
That one.
Yes, yeah. The one with the oddly glimmering hue. That's the one. That's the one.
Are you sure this one?
What? I do apologise.
You said you were quite sure about what you thought of this the other night.
No. The dark nebula reserve.
Ah, the dark nebula. Yeah. Anyway,
Read?
you're my only glimmering hue, Mr. Hill. I got it. The nebula. Yes, this is good. This is good stuff. This is here we go. She sort of wanders over with the bottle. No glass or anything. She just sort of looks back at Johnny. Bring some glasses for us, please, my good man.
He immediately starts assembling a bunch of them on a little tray, and steps smartly over to the table where he starts laying them out in a sort of fairly random scatter across the surface.
This is not the drink for pint glasses, Johnny. Go and get the whiskey glasses.
Oh, because I mean, when Cags.
I know. We've got it's polite company tonight.
Right. Okay. I just thought this is what you did, but okay.
Oh, so hard to get the staff, Agnar.
It is. But they mean well.
So the governor sits there with an expectant grin on his face, hoping for a sip of a very nice whiskey.
Any minute now, Johnny.
He comes back with much smaller glasses, and replaces the ones on the table with a more appropriate size of vessel.
No, you can leave my pint glass here, Johnny. It's all right. I'm not one for airs and graces.
He
nods slowly and puts it back. But I thought you said that this was.
We've got special. We've got nice glasses for the guests. Pint glasses for those with artistic souls.
Very well.
It's a very expensive whiskey, Johnny. Would you like some? Maybe a pint of it?
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Wonderful. So it tries to catch Agnar's eye as she pours about half a pint of whiskey into Johnny's glass.
He picks it up and nods gratefully and backs away to the bar with it.
There's 2 pint glasses here, Cara. Are you familiar with measures?
Weren't they a post-punk band from De La Bru, weren't they?
No. I mean that I believe you would struggle to get 2 pint glasses and anything else out of this bottle. But
he's only had half a pint. There's plenty more to go.
That's true. There is more whiskey as well. That's very true. Please, our guest second, I suppose now.
Keep the staff happy, and you get better service, don't you? That's what my mum always said.
That is the Baltic Star motto.
Right, one of the mottos.
Yes.
We normally say it in Latin, though, don't we?
Yeah. Or sing it in the style of Robert Smith.
Exactly.
Depending on which side of the ship you're on.
Right. The emo side or the Latin side, I guess, from now on. Wonderful. Oh,
that's a weird turn.
As our waiter's currently calming himself for the rest of the evening, I'll play mum. Cara picks up the glass and pours a few, some generous measures for the two gentlemen.
Okay. The governor takes his glass and closes his eyes, like a rapturous expression on his face as he takes a sip. Then he puts it down and he says, "Oh, that's nice."
How long have you been on the Darkmoon? On our time there, it felt like it would be very hard to get drinks of this type.
It's not impossible, of course. They have to be ordered from off world, and it always seems to be difficult to get the really good ones delivered. For some reason, the ones I really like tend to be only really for sale for those who bring their appreciation with them. Your regular passing transport ship tend to just throw a few bottles of whatever happens to be to hand in the crates. It's hard to live this far from the center of civilization and still maintain a very high standard of life.
Of course, of course. But I suppose there's always retirement to look forward to. You'll be well looked after, I'm sure. Not that it's anywhere near being close. I'm sure at your young, sprightly age.
I think of it more and more, honestly. And he, glances across at Locke and says, "It's becoming the thing that makes me happiest. The thought that I will eventually be able to leave this horrid place behind." And Locke nods and says, "Well, I'm actually quite glad to hear that, because I feel it's getting to the time where I should find direction in my life. And perhaps it's the time for me to take on a new responsibility."
Remembering that Locke is actually there, Cara pours him a whiskey as well.
Into an imaginary glass.
Sorry, Sir Locke. Please have mine.
He glances
Well,
at
enough of it to go
the
around.
glass and says, "Apparently I have an artistic soul."
Word gets around.
The governor is sort of sizing up Locke a little bit, but he looks quite cheered up at the thought that this might be his escape plan.
Have you thought much about the transition when the time comes? The passing over of the torch, as it were?
Helinsky shrugs. "I can't imagine there's any real ceremony to it. We'll probably have some kind of public announcement and an event. But it'll probably take me longer to clear out my desk than it will to handle the actual formalities."
Is there anything official getting in your way of it? Like, I guess you guys are here. Well, we know you guys are here for the Imperium, working to bring the kelp and such like. Is there paperwork that has to be signed off along the way, or does succession happen when it happens, as it were?
We're essentially self-governing. The contract with the Third Imperium is simply with the planet itself, effectively run as a corporation. Who is CEO is irrelevant to them.
Ragnar takes a long sip of his whiskey. I wouldn't dream to be so bold, but I'm sure my colleagues would not thank me if I weren't to put the Baltic Star forward as a location for such a momentous period in the planet's history. Perhaps with one person ready to pass it over and the other to receive, and he looks over at Locke.
The governor nods and says, I take your point, but I don't think we need neutral territory for this, do we? We can do it in the city.
Well, I only assumed it would reflect well on us, if I'm honest. He chuckles and sips.
Are you looking for another medal, Agnar? I'm sure the governor can find one for you if you want to be at the ceremony.
Not medal, but perhaps another line in my introduction.
The mediator of worlds,
if you will.
A new sash.
Are you a fan of sashes, Governor?
Not especially. I have one that I wear for formal events. It's hideous.
They are hideous, aren't they, sashes?
They're terrible.
Yeah. We didn't get to spend much time in the city of yours, as you would know. I'm sure you're aware of that. But you do, as your bodyguard, I guess she is. It seems like the Guardians hold quite a lot of power beneath you, perhaps. And we heard rumours of other people at work in the shadows, I suppose. Would a passing of the torch be peaceful, do you think? Kara pauses, just tops his glass up before he's even finished.
I don't know what rumours you've been listening to, but the Guardians are just peacekeepers. And they report to me. They are... they're just there to ensure public safety and good order.
Public safety is very important.
I agree.
Oh, Kara looks around and sort of badly garçon snaps her fingers towards Johnny for some sort of starters or something.
Rose has indeed come up with something. And Johnny starts to bring them over. These are small plates for everybody to enjoy, containing a selection of cheeses with crackers.
Oh, look at this. This is wonderful. Our wonderful chef has outdone herself once more. You a fan of cheese, Governor?
He looks down at the plate and says, I am. I'm not familiar with all of these, but I'm sure they are hand-selected by experts.
Johnny, would you care to talk us through the plates?
He nods eagerly. Yes, these here are the cheeses, and these are the biscuits.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you.
I knew the half pint of whiskey was a bad choice.
And he backs away back to the bar again. He's not as comfortable in sort of highfalutin circles.
I was picturing bowing as he goes back. Please, Governor, please enjoy our wide selection of cheeses and biscuits, I suppose.
He begins to tuck in, and seems to quite like it. I mean, it could just be that he's quite a polite man and this is a formal occasion, but you don't You don't notice him, wrinkling up his nose in disgust or anything.
You know what we need, Johnny. Port. That's what we need. Port.
He looks
Port
to
with
the
cheese.
left. Where?
The red one.
The red one. It's like wine but thicker. It's the one that our common friend hallucinated on the other night after drinking about 17 bottles of it.
Oh, that stuff. Yeah, okay. And he dives under the bar, coming up a few moments later with a bottle of this fairly heavy duty red. And he starts putting small glasses onto a tray and bringing them over together. And lays them out and then pops open the port after a bit of a struggle and pours a little taste for everyone.
A much better glass choice this time, Johnny. Thank you.
Good. And he flees once more.
We've been having to work hard with him. He's from Austin, you know.
Austin, really?
Yes.
He doesn't have an Austin accent, that's all.
No, that's where we found him anyway. He could be from anywhere.
Oh, yes, I think a lot of people wash up there.
Yeah, any connections to Austin at all, Governor?
We've occasionally had commercial dealings with them, I think. It's more in Arlen's backyard, isn't it? And Arlen smiles and says, not far. We don't have a lot to do with it, not in general. But I was there quite recently. It's different than I remember.
Oh, how long ago were we there, Agnar? Not too many months ago, I feel. In fact, we passed through very briefly on our way over. That was just dropped by, didn't we, to see the changes since the governor there changed.
Yes, I think it's changed for the better, says Locke.
It's definitely a changing of the guard, as it were. It's quite interesting. We've been there under two different governors, and there's definitely been changes. The Imperium very much in charge again, I feel.
Yes, that feels appropriate.
Scary times though when a governor can be in power one day and not in the next, I suppose. Under such circumstances.
Immediately, Helinsky laughs and says, "Scary? It sounds delightful."
Well,
we were talking briefly with Sir Locke, Governor, if you don't mind. Earlier today, it was nice. We had a gathering, a brunch, as it were. Getting to know him. It seems like a charming man. He couldn't speak highly enough of you. I don't want to embarrass you, Sir Locke. You almost described yourself as you wanted to be like his protege.
Right.
You were trying to learn everything you could from the governor.
And Locke sort of nods a little bit, but there's like a slight look of curiosity in his eye. Yes, of course. If I'm going to be a good governor, I should learn what I can.
I hope I don't speak out of turn, Governor, but when we were trying to work out the connection, why Sir Locke and so on, it turns out that you are connected by the same young lady.
I want you to roll a deception check for me, please, with intellect.
Okay, okay, I've got a chance.
The good one where he's trying to figure out if someone else is lying, not because he's lied himself.
Yes,
Yeah, I was
exactly.
gonna say. I've been quite honest, really. Well, it's a +3, so okay. That's a 6 + 3 is a 9.
Okay. The moment you say that, a look crosses his face, which like drains all of the life from it for a moment. Like it just goes slack for a moment. And he closes his eyes and opens them again and looks back at Sir Arlen and he says, "Of course, a tragic matter. Tragic. Such a loss. I think I lost half of myself that day."
So the draining of the colour from the role, as far as I know at this point, he may be an excellent actor, for example. We've got no reason at this minute to doubt his truth in the matter. Like I say, it might need to delve
You were
further, but at this
guessing,
point, yeah.
if you were guessing, you've just stepped on a sore nerve because he's missing his daughter.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, Governor. I didn't mean to bring it up in such a way. I did hear that she was missing. Sir Locke. It sounded like he was coming to try and help find her, and it's a very rum do, indeed. Who was it that informed you of her going missing, Governor?
It was, of course, my head of security who had to bring me the news of the abduction. It was a terrible day, and I try not to dwell on it.
Kara tops up the ports and sort of nods at Johnny to come and take the plates.
Agnar will raise up his glass to absent friends.
He takes a long, deep breath and then raises his glass and says, "Yes, absent friends," and takes a long, long drink of it.
You're trying to sort of lighten the mood a little bit, I suppose. Says your guardian Stavek seems very very focused, Governor. Like she's really got your back today. You must have
Dutiful.
very much dutiful. A fine word. You've selected her wisely. It seems she already looks like she's a close bodyguard for you.
She has been assigned to me by my head of security, the safety office, and I think he chose well. She's efficient and discreet. I do worry about that scar. I've offered to have it treated, and she refuses. I think she likes it.
Has she been with you long?
Well, I think she has actually been on Darkmoon longer than I have. She was hand selected by Jin, my head of the safety office, for his elite guardian force, and from what I understand, she rose quickly through the ranks. She was efficient and quick-witted. Certainly, I have found her so.
As Johnny sort of is clearing the plates, Kara would like to try and almost force some sort of spillage on her lap, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. If I'm able to do that.
Yep, no problem at all.
Yep.
What I am going to do is make you roll a deception check with Dex to see if you can make it look natural.
That seems very reasonable. Oh, that's the best roll of the night, thank goodness. 10 plus 1 is 11.
11.
Nicely done.
Yes, I mean, it's completely natural. And, if you're trying to fool the man, you have fooled him flawlessly.
I'm sorry, Johnny. I didn't mean. I thought I was helping. I'm sorry. Sort of starts dabbing at the spill with a napkin. I'm sorry, everyone. You're Sir Locke, Governor. Please excuse me. This jumpsuit is dry clean only, and I've got to see to it and get changed. I hope you don't mind me leaving you briefly. I'll be back in time for Johnny. But I'll leave a mains there. I'll join them in shortly.
He's also a bit flustered, running back and forth to the bar and gathering, cleaning cloths and things like that, and tidying everything up as you make your break for it.
And as Kara leaves, Agna will just call Beckett and Johnny over and don't worry, it's fine. Calm down. So it's our fault really for serving the liquid crackers.
I think the port, if anything else. That's what I'm more concerned about. I wouldn't
Not
spill the
anymore.
whiskey. The liquid crackers.
Make a note for next time.
I'm happy to leave them chatting. The conversation happens, but my main purpose is, of course, to check on my phone, check if there's anything, and try and get in with Kat as I head back to my apartment briefly.
Right. So, when you come out of the lounge, which direction are you turning?
To the Latin side of the ship, the Latin quarter, the port side.
You're going to go to the port side. Okay, so you're turning effectively towards the science lab.
The side that we showed them as they came in, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, you head that way, and you're checking your phone as you go.
Yes, please.
You don't have any messages from Kat. And as far as you can see, there isn't any sign of either her or the Guardian.
Kara's going to put a group chat out.
An APB.
Yeah, an APB, but not to. If she'll select the people in the chat. Everyone except for Kat and Agnar, basically. Asking if anyone's seen the Guardian.
Okay. Well, remember, the vast majority of the crew are at the party.
Yeah, of course. But
But if you want the people who aren't there,
it would generally be, in my mind, it's generally, well, you got Cags and Sir Cron, but they're in their room.
yep, Zoe is in her room.
And I can't help but feel Rachel Axis is not a party girl.
Okay.
And is probably engineering, doing
All right.
whatever she does in her thing. But to be fair to you, probably everyone else is probably around and about, aren't they?
All right. If you let me think. Okay. All right. Yes. So when you send that message, you get a little set of no, nothing, 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 come back. And Rachel says, I'll go look.
Carver will message her saying, can you just, to keep me at ease, can you check in every 2 minutes with an emoji?
Sure.
The more double entendre, the better.
Naturally.
Cara sends a little smile and aubergine.
There has been no response from Cap.
Cara will. Was one of the responses from Zoe?
Yes.
Okay. Was another from Cags or Cron?
Yes, from Cron.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably more likely Cron. I don't think we've let Cags on the group chat, probably. Or we have, or there's an extra one without him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the official one.
That's the one.
Oh no. Oh, set Cat up for. Cara will message Agnar saying, nothing from Cat. Can't see Guardian. Please stall. I may be a little longer.
Agnar at the buzzing or the bleeping from his pocket. A quick little check mid conversation. Put it back underneath. So tell us, Johnny, what is the main course? Feel free to skip over.
Johnny says extravagantly, as I understand it, the main course is. He looks at it and then looks up. Stew.
Very good, very good. Thank you.
And he begins to dish up bowls of stew to everybody at the table. It comes with bread, he says, and presents some bread to everybody. He's doing his best.
Doing admirably.
Yeah. So now this is interesting, Governor, because I believe that every culture has their own unique tasting bread, based mostly on the yeast strains that are used to produce it. And I'm sure this, hopefully, he says loudly over his shoulder, will be very different to anything that you have down on the planet. Certainly no kelp involved, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, that's a relief, to be honest. I don't eat it myself much, but it kind of gets in the atmosphere, if you know what I mean.
I can very much imagine, and surely any stew as well. I assume you have fresh water. I don't want to come across as condescending, but on such a sea-dominated world, shall we say?
We
It must,
definitely have fresh water, but it does taste a little chemically. We don't really have what you'd call mountain streams or anything.
No, indeed, and lots of ice. Lots of ice. So is it freshwater ice? And feel free to skip over any parts of the conversation whenever you want to. He'll carry on some kind of talk about the world and the
Okay,
intricacies of
so
cuisine on the
you
planet.
do indeed.
Yes,
you do indeed
very
manage to come up with a few conversations. I'm going to suggest that you need to make something like a carouse check for me, please.
Really?
With social.
Oh,
Um,
it's good social though.
it is good social. It is good social. I'm not sure I've got anything better, to be honest, except for deception. That's an 8 +2 for social, but -3 for carouse.
Okay.
Makes a 7.
You get the feeling that though you're trying your best, Belinsky's starting to get a little bit concerned about how long his guardian has been away, and he's
Not the only one.
wondering where Kara is. Probably, he's starting to look a bit less engaged in the stew.
Oh, that's disgraceful.
And at about that moment, you get a message from Rachel. Come back to you, Kara.
Yes.
And it says, just, I found Cat.
Oh. Oh. Right. Kara is gonna go into her cabin, if that's okay.
Into
Kara's
her own cabin.
Yes, please.
Yep.
Cloth armor can cloth armor be worn under clothes?
Yes.
She's gonna slip into her cloth armor. It's a lower protection, but I can hide it under a baggy jumpsuit.
Yep.
She's going to take. Oh, I wish I had the skills for my hunting bow. I don't think I've got the skills up for it yet. She's going to take. She's going to put on her stun fist, which I believe I wear as a backpack, don't I? Because I can hide it. I hide it through my sleeve and with the backpack.
Yep.
Stun fist, and she's going to pick up her scoped laser rifle.
Okay. That's a fairly large and obvious weapon.
I know.
So is Kara.
As she's doing it, she's gonna message. She's gonna message Rachel and say, "Conscious, unconscious, ... or ... question mark."
She doesn't respond for a few seconds. And when she does, the message is unconscious, breathing.
Kara's going to send a message to Agnar saying, "Pretty sure Guardian's knocked out Cat. Don't know where she is. Looking for her now."
Agnar has another little snide look underneath the table. Governor, I can sense that you're becoming somewhat concerned about the location of your guardian. I wouldn't want to feel as though that we'd put you in a compromising position. Perhaps a wider tour of the ship, and we could try to locate them.
Yes, thank you.
If that
An
would make you
excellent
feel
idea.
more comfortable, of course.
Yes. He stands immediately and looks at the table as a whole and says, "Excuse me, please," and looks to Agnar to take the lead.
I will stand up and says, "Sir Locke, if you care to join us, please do. But feel
Yep.
free to stay."
Yes, he immediately leaps to his feet and says, "Of course."
And Agnar will lead towards the port side door.
Okay.
I believe that's where everyone went.
Yep, pretty much.
He'll take a quick little look left and a look right, see if he can see anyone. And if not, he'll does he remember? Would he have known which direction the Guardian wandered off in?
He wouldn't have actually seen from inside the bar beyond. Well, I don't know. Yes, he might. She, when she left, did indeed turn towards the port side corridor. So yes, the same way that everyone has gone basically is the route that he would know to follow.
He'll look off in that direction very, very wistfully and call back to the others. Come, gentlemen. We'll track these people down.
Okay, so you're going to head down the port side corridor as well?
Yeah.
All right. So as you start your way down the corridor, that will be about the same time that Kara has got her kit on.
Kara would like to message before she leaves anything.
Yep.
She needs to message Zoe. In fact, she's going to call Zoe.
Yep.
Okay. Hey Zoe.
Getting really serious now.
Hi.
So, Governor Helinski, as far as we know, seems legit, right? Nasty leader, slaver, dystopian guy, but he wants out. He seems legit. His guardian, on the other hand, pretty certain, and please don't come charging out too quick. Pretty certain she's knocked out Cat and is roaming around the ship.
Okay.
I'm tooling up. Look, honestly, you're welcome to come with me, but we need to keep Tally safe. Because pretty sure the head of security lied to the governor about the death or the kidnap of his daughter.
Got it.
So we'll want her dead.
All right. You can actually hear over the phone a click as she locks the door properly to the room that she's in with Tally. And even as you're still connected, you can hear her say to Tally, "Okay, I'm going to get a bit more armed now, and we're going to stay a bit quiet until we find out what's going on. Anything else you need?" She says into the phone.
me think. I know since you've been on the ship, your skills. Don't take this the wrong way. You're very good at judging people. Which of the crew is probably the best shot outside of us, the idiots, and not you, because you've got the most important job right now.
She would say Cags when he's sober.
Yep. Cheers.
Still, if she's willing to come out of hiding.
Yep. Okay.
Maybe Sammy.
Sammy's proven herself, but we've put Sammy in harm's way a few times. But okay, I've got some quick calls to make. I might be calling you back, Zoe, yeah? But you know the deal, right?
Yep.
We don't like this girl, so don't feel you've got a spare her.
You get a message come in as you're sort of hanging up from Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, we're in the locker room. Cat's been drugged.
Okay. Cara messages back. A locker room is C. Okay. And Rachel. Can you take her to your room, Rachel?
Yep.
Cheers. Just keep the door locked, yeah?
Definitely. Okay.
And Rachel, it's on the systems. It's possible for me to get on and turn off lights in different parts of the ship, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you have access to our control system, sure.
Cara taps her laptop. Cara slips a couple of starlight drops just in case. Just in case. And what she does is she wants to slide one just outside her door if she can. And I don't know if there's gaps under the door. If you'd need to open the door.
There won't be any gaps, no.
Cara will very quickly open the door, put a starlight drop just on the edge of the door, and close it again if possible.
Okay.
And would like to message Agnar and say, starlight drop outside mine. Lights, darkness could be our friend, ?
Yeah. Okay. I get it.
You get it?
Great. Okay. Yes, I'm with you. All right. So you get that message, Agnar?
Agnar, leading the party, will pull out his phone, have a little look at it, and say, "Gentlemen, if you will, hold where you are. I forgot the most important thing for a hunting party." And he'll scamper back to the bar. and assuming he's not followed,
Mhm.
he'll quickly message back to Kara. It's a good plan. I'll send an emoji when I've got it.
Kara messages back, make it filthy.
There is no response. But he, whilst in the bar, you have to give me some advice, Ben. He wants to grab his shotgun and attempt to hide it somewhere underneath his jacket, if that is at all possible. Given the size, which you're probably more familiar with than I am.
I think no, under his formal jacket that won't work. It's the kind of thing you might be able to hide under, say, a greatcoat.
I see. Is there anything lying around are there any coats in the bar? Are there blankets? I'll try to think of any other possible options. If there's not, it's fine. He will grab a bottle of whiskey from the top shelf, the good stuff, and leave.
Okay. All right. You're taking the shotgun even if you can't hide it.
I think so at this point, given the circumstances.
Okay. All right. And you're returning straight to the two men.
He is returning straight to the two men. He's not taking the shotgun, Ben. I can't justify it.
Fair enough.
But he will take the bottle of whiskey and say, for the hunting party, and he'll take a swig and he'll pass it around. just like those old days back on
De La Rue.
back on De La Rue.
Yeah.
Indeed. Come, we'll find your guardian, Governor.
Okay. And you head off towards Kara's room, which is, down on the right as you wander down the corridor. And at that point, we will take our little interval.
Oh, it's tense. I'm feeling tense. It's rare that I get tense.
This is not how I expected this evening to go. I'll be honest.
I think some whining, dining, and chat. A lot of rolls.
It's going to be a pleasant
chat
night.
rolls. Oh, it is. I quite like it that you've got Kara that's gone full. I know what's going on here. This is bad news. And you've got Agnar who knows what's going on, but he's got to play that it's not, which is quite interesting. I think it's a fascinating thing. Hopefully we find the guardian. Hopefully dead, floating outside the ship. But until we've reached that point, let's all go and have a break. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere, please. Raise your glasses when we get back for our toast. But until then, we'll see you in a few. Let's click on the break. Oh, I need to get rid of the ship. The ship's quite important today. That's why I've got the graphic on.
It has been. It has been.
Right, let's get some music on for the break. There's the music. Get rid of that. There we go. And then we will mute and be back in 5. Hello, we're back. Ewan and I are stressed, so hopefully Ben can calm our nerves with a wonderful toast.
Well,
pressure.
it's time to recount another of the stories I was once told by our former ship's steward. I can't verify the accuracy of these stories. After all, he once told me he invented quantum chromodynamics.
Leave
Once,
that one.
he told me, he found himself in a society driven by the concept of honour above all. If I know anything about Greyhill Bast, it is that his honour was important to him. Very important. He said, however, that in this place, honour had to be constantly proven. It wasn't enough to be honourable, you had to prove it with your every action. It all sounded pretty exhausting to me. Still, he naturally excelled in this environment, and his honour remained unblemished. He was wildly unsuccessful at achieving anything useful, but his honour remained intact, which is a victory of sorts. Whenever I doubt the right course to set, I think of our former ship's steward and ask myself, what would Greyhill do? And in this moment, my choice is clear. He would raise a glass and toast to the memory of a fallen comrade. Please join me as I celebrate the memory and the honour of the late, great Greyhill Bast.
The late great
The late great
Greyhill
Greyhill
Bast.
Bast.
Right. So, where we left off, Agnar, with two people he doesn't know very well, is heading down the port corridor towards Kara's door. And Kara has left for him a bit of starlight drop for his eyes should he want to use them.
Yes, indeed. Come, come, come. This way, onwards to the great glory of the hunt. And he'll take a swig of whiskey and pass it back to the others, and look to get to a point where he is feigning, I suppose, tipsy drunkenness to an extent that he could trip at, stumble at Kara's door and look to try and fumble around for something to pick up.
He's giving off serious Jumanji Hunter vibes right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going for. Thanks, Lee.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes, he needs to take the pith a bit more.
Exactly.
The obvious thing is,
He could fake falling over as a bit of a blunderbuss.
do you actually want to do this tripping over thing in order to disguise your collecting of the drops? Because actually putting them in the eyes will be even harder to cover up.
Yes, but if it gets to the point where that is necessary, I think it will be the disguising of it won't be an issue.
Won't be as big a
It'll
deal.
be dark.
Yeah.
Then can you try?
That would be useful.
Can you roll a deception for me with Dex, please, to see if anyone spots you?
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That is a 9 plus 3 total, please.
Okay. You sort of walk a slightly erratic course and graze against the door frame. Your fingers finding the starlight drops with no challenge, and you have them in your possession. It doesn't seem to have aroused any suspicion at all.
Slip them into a sort of medium height pocket on his formal military wear.
Yes. Well, like Yelena, he believes in pockets.
Indeed, very important.
Lots of pockets.
Tap it safely and lead on.
Okay. So, when you get down towards the end, which way are you going?
It's a very good question.
Because there are, well, it's essentially your choices are this. You can go into any of the cabins you like. Obviously, Kara's is occupied by Kara, but there are 3 more down that side.
Yeah.
Or at the end, there is a door into the sort of crew quarters.
Which is where Rachel found Cat, correct?
Yes, in the lockers just inside that door.
Yes, which I'm trying to place on the map. Can you give me an initial?
C
Yeah.
for the.
So
C
let
for
us
the-
see if you
Yeah.
look at the big pale green area in the middle left.
Yeah.
It's at the top of that, almost all the way to engineering.
Wonderful.
And you're the other side of that wall in the corridor that runs
In the
along.
yeah, on the top. Yeah, perfect. That is what I was expecting, but it's often good to check, especially when it comes to maps and me trying to picture what's going on. Agnar will get to the end of the corridor and he'll make a big bit of a show of sniffing around. So, gentlemen, any insight into which way?
You're going to pause there and wait for a second while you wait for a response. Okay. Can you roll a streetwise check for me, please, with intellect?
I can do. It's not good though. So 9 on the dice, -3, however, for a 6.
Okay. The governor looks confused. He doesn't know the ship well, and as for Sir Arlen, he sort of nods towards the door into the crew quarters and says, "I suppose we need to go through here and then maybe back on the other side."
Well, if that's your decision, come, Governor. Don't look so distressed. It's not the whereabouts in the ship that we're after. It's the signs of other people's passing, as I'm sure Sir Arlen here will attest. And he'll burst open the door and cry out, "Aha!" in his best Rudy Otto voice, and slowly walk in once he sees that nobody's in there.
Yes. As you enter, you can't see
I'm
anybody
assuming so.
in the space at all. The crew quarters bit seems to be unoccupied.
Well, gentlemen, it appears as though our quarry is not yet in sight. To the other side of the ship, did you say, Sir Arlen?
Unless you think the bridge, or I don't know.
No, I have faith in the judgment of our honourable guests. Come this way. Lead on.
Okay. All right. And you head on through and out into the other corridor, basically opposite Stefan's cabin door.
Yep.
And at that point, we'll cut briefly back to Kara.
Yep. First things first. She's gonna, with all her gear ready, she's gonna pull out her laptop and connect onto ship systems, please. That's something I feel that she's done many, many times over the months.
Yep, and she's got the credentials, so it's just a case of hitting a couple of buttons. Not going to make you roll for that.
Thank you very much. Now, I know that Soraya said that from outside the ship, the technology, the scanning doesn't exist at this level for life, for life science and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
On this ship, do we have anything that Kara could look into that might suggest the location of life science on the ship? Or cameras or anything like that?
Yes. Okay. So you've got um, the centralized system that actually monitors the movement of people through the ship.
Hmm.
And that is used for everything from identifying whether people are in areas they're not supposed to be, or to make the doors open automatically as they approach, or all sorts of things of that nature. It's a pretty standard thing on board a ship like this. So, though it may not necessarily be able to identify a person,
Hmm.
it could definitely identify the presence of people if that's what you're looking for.
Yes. So
And you could then narrow it down.
I think
There is
that's it.
another option, though,
Yes.
which is that on board the ship, you can also track any electronic devices.
Hmm.
And in that case, that would also give you the identity of the person if the electronic device is known. That makes sense? So
Yes.
if you got a ping from the governor's phone, for example, you would actually recognize it on the system because you've had a telephone call with it. But the Guardian's phone, if you caught that, you just know there was a phone there.
Got you. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So I don't know what you'd like to try.
so there's two ways to this really. Because basically, we know where anyone is on the ship of our crew. Um, we know that Cags and Kron are in Kron's room,
Hmm.
which we know exactly where that's it. That's next to the low berths. We know where Rachel and Kat are. They're in Rachel's room. We know where Zoe and Talia are.
Yep.
We know where Johnny is.
Yes.
We know where the rest of the crew is because they were at the front of ship.
Hmm.
And I know that Agnar and his posse are moving around. So the first thing I'd like to do is to check for the system for like door openings and movement of, I'd imagine like a list of things that the ship has had to run, door openings, this,
Yep.
buttons pressed, sudden appearances there. And if that gives me anything, I'm going to track the electronic devices. Because I feel the first one's a much quicker list to go through if we know where people are.
Okay. All right. What you won't get from that is how many people are necessarily in each space, you understand, because
No,
it
that's
will
fine.
only track the existence of people.
Yes.
But you want to run that scan.
Please.
I'm going to need you to roll a d6 for me.
Oh, it's a 1. It's either good or terrible.
It's good. So
that's good.
That's good.
within a matter of seconds, you have up a list of places where people are.
Yeah.
Now, at about the time that you're doing that, you would have people in the front of ship,
Yep. Front ship. Yep.
in Zoe's cabin,
Yep.
in Kron's cabin,
Yep.
in Rachel's cabin,
Yep.
in the cabin on the very top left, so 3 doors down from you towards the stern,
Yes.
and in the crew lounge relaxation area on towards the stern, the E area.
Yep. That is good to know.
As far as I'm aware, that's it at that point.
Okay. I'd like to give Kron a call, please.
Okay. All right. He answers immediately. Yes.
Hey, ma'am. How drunk is Cags? Oh, he's gone. Just at the Cags drunkenness.
He's that drunk.
He's that
He's
drunk.
just
Oh, no, he's
disappeared.
back. Oh, what a relief. It's because he wanted his name to be on top of your name. There we are.
Yeah.
It's back. Everything's good.
He's
rightfully so if he's going to kill us all.
Quite right, so.
Sober by his standards.
Put him on for me, please. Come on.
Immediately, you get the voice of Cags, who's saying, "Get off this! I'm taking a phone call. Off. Sorry. Yes.
Cags, as a chronic alcoholic, could you fire a gun right now accurately?
Yes.
Come to my cabin.
Wilco. Do I bring the big lad?
That could I don't know him well enough to know whether that's Kron, a weapon, or a terrible joke about his own manhood.
Yes to all.
Leave Kron. Bring a gun if you got one.
Okay. He hands the phone back to Kron, and you can actually hear him reaching for a weapon. And then he says, as he's getting ready to go, he turns to Kron and says, "Guard this with your life." And then you hear the door open. He's on his way.
Carl will send a message around. We've talked about this before. Our channel is secure, isn't it? So we've
Yes.
had fears about this even when it's Fess, the mightiest of all, the dangerous.
That's right.
She's gonna send a
So
message
far.
around saying, "Is anyone in the back cabin on the port side, the rear cabin port side?" Like,
There's
are
no
any
response.
of you? No. She'll message Agnar and say, keep the guys away from rear port for a little while.
Okay.
He'll send back the filthiest emojis that he can possibly imagine because he realizes that he's forgotten to do so. And then a separate message, a couple of question marks.
She'll reply, it might be the Guardian. Might be good for the governor to see her, if so, but not until we have the upper hand.
And you'll get a message back with some more filthy but positive affirmation emojis.
Oh, affirming filthy emojis.
Yeah.
You are such.
Agnar doesn't even realize.
You're such a Gen Z.
Well,
He just assumes it's a sailing boat and a wave, but little does he know what it really means around the artistic community.
Mm-hmm. All right. So about the time you send that, there is a knock on your cabin door, which sounds very much like it was actually the tap of a weapon on the door. And on Kara's door.
Mm-hmm.
And as that happens, we'll cut back to Agnar in the starboard corridor.
And as you can see, this is the non-Latin Goth side, if you will, of the ship. I'm glad you've got to see it in all its glory. What I can't help but feel as though My apologies, Sir Arlen. I think we may have passed through that last room slightly too swiftly. Perhaps if we head back and conduct a fuller sweep of the area, we might find what we're looking for.
Okay. Do you want, therefore, to continue up the corridor until you get to the entry into the crew quarters that's sort of opposite your own cabin?
Yeah, and then circle sort of background into the main. Oh no, he's gone again.
No, it's because you jumped to the front. He needs to jump to the front. You're like
He's
one
so
potato,
elusive.
two potato. Remind me, I
3
need to
potatoes, 4?
4 potato. Remind me, I need to call Stefan if I get the chance. I feel like
He's busy.
yeah, he always is, isn't he? He's listening to the full The Cure's greatest hits right now.
So much Robert Smith.
So much Robert Smith.
Yes, sorry Ben, that is the plan. And then I suppose to make our way back down towards the through the heart of the ship towards that area that we very briefly went through.
Okay.
Searching
All right.
on our way.
So you turn off in that direction. The corridor that runs past the bridge is empty, and you can move through to that T-junction very easily. The thing I suppose worth mentioning is that there are actually people in this part of the ship in various cabins, and you know that. But
Sorry,
you presumably aren't worried about those people.
No, very much not. He'll make a point to avoid anything that we're purposefully trying to avoid in present company. But other than that, he'll do an unenthusiastic, I suppose is the best way of phrasing it, sweep of this area. Not really changing, but just sort of keeping them here in the close vicinity for the time being.
All right. You could always take them through to the bridge, which is just off that corridor.
I think we want to try and keep as rear and central as we can.
Okay.
Should
so you're heading gently back towards sort of area E, the crew.
Yeah. Should the upper hand present itself, and we want the governor to be present.
Yeah.
Going off of their last conversation, that'd be useful.
Okay, fair enough. And as you complete this sort of loop, we'll go back to Kara.
The knock on the door, she'll sort of go next to the door and she'll say, she'll whisper through the door, "Who's the best kitty in the whole ship?"
There's a brief pause, and the answer comes. Pause. I've got it narrowed down to 2.
She opens the door.
It's Cag standing there.
It's Cag. Cag, come in, my man. This is, please understand, this is the only time you're ever going to be allowed in my cabin.
He says, if I had a credit for every time I heard that.
Now, we've got reason to believe there's, we know there's someone on the ship that we don't really want on here. You know, I don't know if you do know, we've got a very important person on our ship today, the governor of Darkmoon. It just so happened to coincide with the time that the day that From wanted to drink heavily with you, believe it or not.
I see.
It just so happened, and he unfortunately brought a bodyguard with him, and we're pretty sure that the bodyguard has drugged Cat and is out and about on the lookout for something. We've got to assume that she's armed, dangerous, and we need to keep as much of the crew safe as possible.
Okay.
Uh,
One day you'll have to point out somebody to me who isn't armed and dangerous. In my experience, everybody is.
That's just most people are. That's what keeps the balance careful, I believe.
Yeah.
Mutual destruction, I believe, is the term. But anyway, you and I are two of the crew deemed capable of bringing this person to justice. You were referred to me by someone who I respect a lot as being one of the best shots on the crew.
Yeah, probably.
Pretty certain this guardian, who we need, who's heavily armored, who is highly experienced, is probably in the room at the end of this corridor right now.
Okay.
Don't know what she's holding out there. Might be reporting something back. I don't necessarily want to kill her. What I want to do is I want to get to question her. Okay.
Okay.
So, but if it comes to a fatal injury to her or to any of our crew, then take her out. Yeah.
All right. So basically, as long as it's talking, we leave it alive, and as soon as it moves, we kill it.
If it decides to try and shoot one of us, then yes.
All right.
There's one more person I want to get to work with us, though, if that's okay.
Sure.
She gets on the phone and calls Stefan.
Okay.
Hello, and you hear just like heaven blaring out of some kind of music system in the background.
Oh man, are you one of your jujus?
Well, I was. What's up?
You've seen the messages. Pretty certain that the heavily armored guardian, battle hardened, working for the military, the head of the military, probably covering up the inverted commas death of Tally, has drugged our dear friend Cat and is probably hiding out on the rear cabin on the what we're now calling the Latin quarter of the ship.
Quarter?
Yeah, that's what all the cool people, the artistic people, call areas.
Does that mean we need to come up with two other quarters?
No,
so the Latin quarter, the Goth quarter, or maybe just one more? It'd be quirky to have 3 quarters, right?
Oh, look,
but not 4.
Have you been on that funny
Artistic.
tobacco again?
No, listen. I found the I found the absinthe in the Sebastian.
Oh.
What do you need?
Do
you want me to storm the quarters?
Bring some armor. Bring a gun. And
yeah.
Come and meet me in the corridor. Outside that cabin.
I'm there.
That was quick.
No, not yet. I'll be there. Give me I'll message you when I'm there.
Okay.
And he takes to his heels as giddy as a schoolgirl. Starts loading up rounds into his shotgun gloves. Grabs his weapon and his armor. Turns off presses pause on the cure playing from whatever music system it is, and creeps out of his room, looking down the corridors to see if there's anyone there.
At this moment, there is not in the corridor. So, what's your route if you are going over there?
Well, he's sneaky, but he's not too smart. He doesn't really know what's going on anyway, or where anyone is. Nobody's told him where anyone is.
No.
So he'll slowly open the door to the ECD area.
Yep. In there, he will find probably the trio of explorers heading down the companionway towards him, down the middle of the ship.
I think he's absinthed up enough at this point that he will see this as some kind of a challenge and attempt to duck behind what I assume is a factually correct table and 4 set of chairs.
Okay.
Slowly closing the door behind him and seeing if he can sneak across at some point.
Well, I mean, there is a sort of partition across the end of the corridor. So if you make a break for it, you can probably go straight across and out the other side, and you've got a decent chance of making it without being spotted.
He will definitely do that.
Okay.
After making sure the door closes very quietly behind him.
You know what I'm going to say. I need a stealth roll with Dex, please.
That is good. That is a 9 plus 3 for a 12, please, Ben.
Then you flit across like a shadow in the night, and out through the door, directly opposite the aft port cabin.
It's like I knew what I was doing. Almost. And again, he'll be very careful with the door behind him to close it softly. Leave it sort of half on a latch and look up and down the corridor. He'll drop a quick message to Kara. I'm here.
I need you to make a streetwise check for me with int, please.
Yeah. That's a 5 plus 2 for a 7, please, Ben.
Okay. All right. Nothing seems to be amiss as you close the door to the crew areas, as you say, quietly and slowly, and then you can, lightly pad your way up the corridor towards Kara's cabin.
Glorious, and he will do so, even though he sort of arranged to meet her there, but he's got time. No one else is here. He's just dropped her a message.
Fair enough. Okay. So Kara will get a message. Now, you do have a couple of minutes while he's doing all this. Is there anything else you want to do while he's heading to you?
She's going to feed Cags a Starlight drop, please.
Yep.
From that massive, when I bought 40,000 of them that time. I've got to get through them somewhere. I'm slowly getting through them. I'm not...
We should do everything in darkness.
I think so. That's spoken like someone from the emo. So you've been listening too much to Robert Smith.
That is the problem. Yeah.
I'm knocking 2 more off because she's preparing one for Stefan as well. But like I said, he revels in the darkness. He lets it envelop him.
It is his soul.
It is his soul. She makes sure she's got everything checked. While I'm waiting, then, if I've got a minute, I will check the other bit of computer work to see if this person has indeed been using their electronics device while they've been on board.
Okay. I'm going to need you to roll an electronics check for me, please.
Yep. Finally. My wheelhouse.
You're using your laptop, but it's, I'm afraid, not a hacking role because you do have access to these
Yeah, it's
systems.
true.
This is more about how much information you'll get.
So just computers then? Flat computers and intellect or education?
That'll be education for you.
Ooh, okay. Well, it's a 6, but plus 3 is 9.
Okay. Inside that cabin, there are 3 transmitting signals. One is a communicator
Yeah.
and is not known to the system.
Okay.
One is a communicator,
Yeah.
which is also not known to the system, but is a completely different communicator.
Yeah.
And one is a kind of like a location device, like something you'd put in a wallet, so if you lost it you'd be able to find it, like a little electronic beacon, like an RFID chip, but slightly on a grander scale.
Yeah.
So you, like a tracking device, if you put it on a low jack on a car, you know what I'm talking about? That kind of thing.
Oh, I do. We should quickly call Rachel. That's okay.
Yep.
Rachel, could you just run a check of the ship scanners, please? Make sure there's nothing scanning us or close to us that we'd rather not have near us.
She says, I'd need to go to the bridge. I don't want to leave Cat unattended.
Kron's free, and he's across the corridor. Get him over.
All right, I will get him over.
Over.
Right, it'll take me a few minutes.
Of course. Just let me know when. I've probably got another 90 seconds, 2 minutes before Stefan gets it. It's a long story.
Okay. Fine. Yep. And she hangs up. Anything else?
Let me have a quick think. Let me look at my stuff. Yes. My holographic projector. She's gonna hand it to Kags. Okay.
Yep.
Stefan's on his way. You're going to get the chance to do something that no doubt you want to do very often. You're going to record a woman.
Sure, let's pretend I've never done that before.
She hands him. I would tell you how to use it, but you probably already do.
He lines it up and points it at you.
Kara's going to act as if a door's just opened in front of her. She's going, oh, hey, I'm glad I found you. We were looking for where you are. Hope everything's okay.
He hits save, and immediately plays it back as it projects just a few feet in front of the projector. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's not perfect. I mean, a little bit of it's an enclosed space in which you're filming this, so a little bit of the background sort of a bit out of focus behind and would look a bit weird. But if someone wasn't paying too much attention,
Yeah,
it'll be okay.
or if it was dark. Okay, that's all I need to do in those couple of minutes before Stefan joins, I think.
Okay.
Geared up otherwise.
Then in that case, Stefan arrives at the door.
Before he goes in, he'll realise his classic schoolboy error. And he'll turn his mobile device onto silent, just in case anyone else decides to call him during his sneaky fun time. And he'll knock on the door. And then wait.
Friday, I'm in.
Love?
Car opens the door. Quick, come in, quick.
And Stefan goes in. I had to make some executive decisions. I hope you don't mind. Obviously, and they'll gesture towards his back. I decided the flamethrower was a good idea. Now was the time, and also and he'll hold up his knuckle blaster gloves. I hope that's okay.
Honestly, mate, with what she's done to Kat, she deserves it. The plan is right. If we can, let's run through some plans from top to bottom. Okay. This potential nutter is on the ship. We've got to assume she's dangerous. We've got to assume that her wants are immoral. It's quite possible that her boss.
Is that why Kegs is here?
He brings our immorality a bit more level, so we're working on the same sort of understanding here.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's the best shot on the ship outside of Zoe, or maybe Agnar.
I can believe that.
So yeah, I can believe that. Don't get too excited about it.
When sober.
Right. This is pretty sober for him, I've heard.
No.
But if it's to believe that her boss faked Tally's death to get some sort of hold over the governor, then we've got to believe that she would quite happily kill Tally right now, which would really affect our plans. We're pretty certain she must have knocked out Kat, which also suggests that she's willing to at least incapacitate the crew. I've done some scans, which puts her and some electronic devices in the rear cabin. She's transmitting 3 things: 2 devices and a location device. I've sent Rachel to check if anything's coming in our direction. Ideally, what I want to do is to capture her and truth serum the hell out of her in front of the governor. That would be ideal, right? If not, we've got to look after the crew. That's the basic line. And I'll bring the laptop. If we can kill the lights as well, I've set a holographic projection up to fake it. And I think if it's dark outside, you might not see the rough edges. But whatever we come to, we might have to make some decisions in the split moments, right? But if our main aim is first the protection of the crew, second the protection of Tally, and the third helping the governor to understand the truth, to hopefully improve the chances of a turnover to Locke, then we've done our job, yeah?
Sounds right. If, you know, let's assume that I'm going to go in, look over his shoulders and at his hands. We're not going to do this kind of way, but we're pretending we are. Just, you know, if things escalate and you need it, give me the nod.
Good man. I'm willing to take. She knows me. She knows that it's likely that if she's gone missing for a while, I'll be the one to go. So I'll go in under the hologram first, but I'll be the one that puts my head above the parapet. But if the two of you are ready to incapacitate her, either keeping her alive or if things go bad proper, then I'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're my guys. We're the dream team, right? We're the dream
We've
team.
got you. Right, Kags?
We're the true hunting party.
Wait, is there another?
On the subject of which, Agnar, I need you to roll for me, please, a streetwise check with intellect.
Oh, I don't think I've ever done so much changing over of my sheets.
And I'm going to do the
I need a
same.
bigger desk. Streetwise with intellect.
Yep.
Oh, this is good news. It's a 10 minus 3 for a 7, please.
Okay. You make your way through to the crew quarters space. You've been deliberately delaying and slowing down the movement and trying to be nearby but not actually present at anything. And you heard perhaps a door opening, a door closing a moment ago, but you haven't really, paid too much attention to it because it might accidentally draw you towards the area you're supposed to be staying away from. So, you sort of, you sort of clear your throat or something to cover any noise, and you keep going. You find yourself down in the crew area, having noticed nothing out of the ordinary. However, can you roll a recon check for me, please, with your choice of intellect or education?
I can.
That's a suspicious roll.
That is a 9 plus 3.
Oh, good.
A 12.
Oh,
Nice.
the truth comes
Okay.
out.
Though I was unsure whether I wanted to succeed this one, I did choose the highest of education.
As you are running out of things to say to delay people and distract people, and occasionally glancing at your communicator to see if there's any update that would allow you to know what to do next, you hear something that sounds like a very muffled but agonized scream for help. And that's where we'll call it for tonight.
No! But I have so much I want to do. Wow. And now I have to remember that for next time.
Was it a female or a male scream for help? Oh, the pains.
It sounded
That's
male.
what I'm calling it.
Male.
It
Sounded male.
sounded male rather than female, but
Sounded male.
Still.
Oh, the pain. Just
Blimey.
Oh my goodness.
Should be noted that Rose's cat has been redeemed.
Rose's cat.
Oh, very
Double
Very
good.
early
redeem.
on, but
Double
I
redemption.
blame the early on mention of early Rose's cat.
Yes, I think that may have been Sparrow celebrating the off-camera
Yes, yeah.
presence
There
of the
was
poodle.
That's the most.
certainly
That's the most
the
notes I've made in months. Oh
implication.
my goodness.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh, go on then.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
so stressful.
Life on the Baltic Star wasn't ever dull for Rose's kitten, Caboodle. There were plenty of people to play with, lots of places to patrol. She had certain people who were reliable providers of a scratch behind the ear or a warm lap, and others who could be forced to engage with her. At the moment, there were new people on board, which was very exciting, but they did seem to be a bit busy. Rose was busy cooking, Rachel Axis was doing whatever she did, something to do with polishing, it seemed. The cat went looking for people who were less preoccupied. One of the newcomers was a young woman who was currently sitting in Zoe's cabin, so the kitten slipped inside before the door was closed. Caboodle gave the newcomer the show. She jumped on the bed, stretched, rolled over, purred, nudged her leg gently. The woman clearly had superhuman powers of standoffishness. That, or was she was too preoccupied with other matters. Something that clearly meant her priorities were deranged. Zoe looked at her guest. Whiskey? Tally Helinski nodded. Zoe pulled open her cupboard and revealed a cache of at least 20 bottles. She pulled one out and poured her guest a generous measure. Tally nodded her thanks and then said, That's quite a lot of whiskey for one person. Zoe nodded. I don't really drink. Every now and then I go into Cag's room and I steal his whiskey and I put it here, just to mess with him. She glanced down at the cat who was standing by the closed door. Out? She opened the door quickly and Caboodle left, looking for someone less tense. It didn't take her long to find an open door, which was closing as she approached. This clearly was worth investigating, and she slipped into Cags's room. Cags was sprawled in his chair, and the friendly engineer, Kron Sarama, was rummaging through a bag. Bags were always interesting, so the kitten went to help. Sarama eventually pulled out an unopened bottle of pretty good whiskey, and a kitten. He also brought out a kitten wrapped around his forearm and gently biting his knuckles. Good stuff, Cags called out on seeing the bottle. I reckon we can probably demolish that between us. Sarama nodded and untangled the cat, dropping her onto the bed. Probably, as long as I don't have very much. Still, there's another one in the bag. Really? Cags was beaming. You better check. For some reason, I always have less whiskey than I think. It's a conundrum. Baffling, said Sarama as he watched Cags pouring about a third of the bottle into a glass. Cags, however, missed the reference. He was gazing at the glass with adoration. He took his time, raising it slowly towards his lips. It was his misfortune that Caboodle chose that exact moment to make a heroic leap from the bed to land on his lap. He jerked his arms out of the way and threw half the glass over his face. He sat there blinking. Sarama laughed pretty hard. I'm not as experienced as you with whiskey appreciation, he said, but I'm not sure it's supposed to be used to wash your face. Cags glared down at the cat, but immediately his expression softened. It's hard to be cross with a kitten that's lying on her back in your lap, wriggling around and purring. He started rubbing her belly and said, It's an advanced technique, for sure, but true experts know it's the only way to really appreciate the finer points. For her part, Caboodle could relax. Two of her favourite playmates were settled in for a while, and they, at least, didn't seem to have anything to do other than fuss the cat.
I feel like I've ruined Caboodle's evening. This is terrible.
It sounds like you have, to be fair.
Blaming Zoe.
I hope that was okay, Sparrow.
Oh, we're finally fully up to date with Caboodle.
Yep.
Oh, beautiful.
Well, since there were new people on board the ship, it was important to fold that in, I think.
Oh, quite right too.
For sure.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciated as absolute always. Sparrow had linked me to a channel. Are they on, Spares? Because I feel like I'm happy to lurk around. Who was it? Because there's another channel that's playing Traveller, but they play it after us.
Are we going raiding?
Mate,
Is
well,
that-
only if
is that
they're
what
on.
we're
Only if
alluding to?
they're on.
Oof.
We're tired old people these days. We do less raiding because
True.
it's 2 o'clock in the morning and we're old. Oh, they're on a season break. So had sent me a link and I need to hunt it down, but we'll start at least jumping onto the other channel when we're done. To give a
Yeah,
little bit of
that
support.
sounds like a nice thing to do. I mean, aside from obviously supporting another traveller channel, it's just a nice thing to do.
Mm,
I think so.
indeed.
We're very rare. We're not like the D&D channels.
It it's nice if you have the opportunity to be a sort of good neighbour and a good citizen, isn't it?
100%. So, but I think for tonight then we shall finish it there. Tomorrow I know that you and I are not available, Ben. So I don't know that if you're going to do anything, or we go take tomorrow off.
I suspect I did know about this well in advance, and I completely failed to plan anything. So I suspect we may go dark tomorrow. Sorry about that.
That is all right. But on our Facebook, our little group chat, we all got very excited because we put up our plans for the coming weeks, and although the details aren't in, things are looking pretty good, I think, for the coming weeks.
Yes,
Actually get some things
yes,
in.
I think they are.
It's fantastic. I know that for a fact next Friday we're not available because we're going into the third dimension, Ben.
We are. Yes, we are actually going to be appearing live and in 3D, which is tremendous.
Mm.
I mean, I say we are.
Some of us are, maybe two or three of us. Oh, sir.
Bad enough.
Someone put the wrong date in their calendar.
Well, it happens.
Someone went on last year.
I got that wrong by 2 months as well.
Precisely.
We're Truth
Standard.
Origin live in Faversham next week.
Yeah.
For something.
Yes.
we're not
So
available
anyone in
Friday.
Faversham,
Yeah.
So yes, if you're
Please come
local, you can come down to the Guildhall on Friday evening, and see us in person, actual live show. We don't do these things very often. This is in fact the second of our live shows, but it's going to be good fun, I'm sure.
I'm sure it
the
will.
first was glorious fun.
It was heroically impressive, wasn't it?
Well, it was until someone wrote the word felching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you're looking at me. It wasn't me. It was an audience member.
Ben carried it off very well. Not the act, just the
Well.
the description. Yeah, so we're going to do that live on Friday. Then we'll work out something for Saturday. Then I think we've got a bit of a run. Ewan's off for a week. Ben's off for a beer. I'll be off for something. But we've worked out things that a bit of Love Barge, bit of hopefully Tony and Rudy, bit of Villages, bit of Orbital Blues. We're going to weave it all in like a beautiful, intricate rug.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be lovely. Yeah, so apologies, there probably won't be anything tomorrow night. And in fact, there won't be anything next Friday either, which is, just us being terrible, terrible hosts, frankly.
But you know what, man? I'm on half term next week, so I might play a game on Monday evening, perhaps.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
I might. We didn't finish it, did I? I only got a few episodes in. I think the north of England needs a southerner with a cricket bat.
Are you going to beat up some people with a quick bat?
Yeah, let's get involved. So keep an eye out for some video gaming once or twice next week as well as a little treat. And we'll return at some point next weekend for some more role playing.
Thank you very much.
There you go, Spez. If you've got nothing else to do on Saturday, Spez will interview you if you fancy it. There you go.
That sounds terrifying.
Does
Make
sound
it
very
so. Make it so.
In a good way.
Yes, thank you, Sparrow. I think I may need to actually prepare a topic before I can do that. But it's very kind of you. It's a kind thought. But hopefully you may bump into us sooner rather than later to play one of our intermittent games.
Oh, beautiful.
We have some villages potentially after all.
Keep my fingers crossed.
Certainly do. There's a murderer on the loose that needs to be brought to justice. But until then, we'll see you all soon. Let's leave them on the loose.
A pint then.
Yeah. Well, that's Ben's view.
Yeah.
Morris Dancer's killed. Pints need to flow. We'll see you all soon. Take care. We love you all, and thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.
No.